is time for another Travolta Tuesday. Welcome to another episode with your host, #1 Travolta fan. Today we are going to talk about The Experts. Oh, you guys, the 80s was such a precious time. It was on the set of The Experts that John met his wife, Kelly. It was just over a year ago that Kelly Preston lost her battle with breast cancer, and John lost his lifetime companion, his life partner. I hadn't even known that Kelly was sick, and the day she died, my husband texted me to tell me, because he'd heard it on the radio, and I was still in bed, and I just laid there and wept because I was shocked because I hadn't known she was sick. They kept it very private, which I really respect. I was just so broken for John and his children. And yeah, I had a moment, and I think he handled the whole thing with so much grace and really honored her in the way he handled her passing, and just in things that he has said throughout the last year. I love how much he loved her and how open he was about that love. I just think that's so beautiful and just a true testament of character. People can say what they want about him, but I really feel like he has a big heart. He had a lot of love. I love a man who loves his wife and who's open about it and, gushing and just still in love after years and years together. And that's a rare thing in Hollywood, and I think it needs to be celebrated. So thank you, John Travolta. Thank you for loving your wife. So I chose to watch The Experts this time, just as a little nod to her memory and in celebration of their love story and the life that they had together. And it's just so fun to see the beginnings of how that all happened. This is not a good movie. But there are still things worth celebrating within it. The Experts is about a KGB training operation in which an American town is replicated in Russia as a training center for their operatives. And the town is kind of modeled after a 1950s town, so it's very old school, traditional, mom in the kitchen, dad puts on a tie and goes to work. And the movie is placed in present time for when the movie came out, which is 1989. So, we're talking bright lights of New York City, nightclubs, sports coats with the arms rolled up. I'm so not into that look. And it's basically the whole wardrobe of John Travolta through this entire thing is the sport coat. No, I don't like it. I didn't hate his tight pants though. So, the 80s has its merits. He wears this really weird cuff bracelet. I don't know what that's about. And cowboy boots. I don't buy it. Also the mullet. I think he's not at his best aesthetically. I really much prefer the chubby John of Michael. So, full flop at the box office. This movie had a $3 million budget, and it didn't even crack $200,000 at the box office. That's kind of devastating. Sorry guys, this is a big mistake. So John Travolta plays Travis, and he has a friend Wendell, and they're these New York guys. They're kind of losers who think they're super cool, and they want to start a nightclub, but their attempts fall flat. They lose a bunch of money, and are sucked into this ploy by a guy leading this training operation in Russia who ends up tricking them into starting a nightclub, drugging them, taking them to Russia. They think they're in Nebraska and they're starting this nightclub. So the whole premise is ridiculous, but it's fun. Kelly Preston plays one of the spies who is there to kind of keep them on task, to entice them. Kelly is super hot. She's really sexy. Some people did the 80s really well. Kelly is one of them. She has this amazing Nicole Kidman hair. She's beautiful, and she pulls off the little black dress like nobody's business. I mean, no wonder he married her, because my goodness, there's some really sexy dancing, and there's a little hint of moves that you're gonna see later in Pulp Fiction, which I appreciated. I thought that was fun. Overall, it's awful. It is terrible. Probably don't even look it up and watch it, but I mean, if you like tight pants and mullets, then sure, go for it. Do it, it's fine. The 80s were a special time. There are some funny moments, there are some cringy moments. It's just dumb. Do you remember renting movies? We had this little rental place in town where we had our first apartment, and every Tuesday they had 2-for-1 Tuesday, and you went in and you rented 2 videos for the price of 1. And so I would always wait till Tuesday to rent, because you got to keep them for a week, and then I would go in and choose longer movies, or like double tape movies. They were so long they took 2 tapes, because then I was really stretching my dollar and getting my money's worth. And I feel like, I mean, we just don't have that anymore. Now we're streaming everything. There's just something fun about the old ways. We've come so far, but yet, what have we lost? It was like going to the library, browsing the titles and choosing. Anyways, that's a long way to say this copy came from a video store. Remember that they used to not give you the cardboard case. You would get this plastic case. They've cut up the cardboard cover and slid it in just to make it last longer for them. So I purchased this from a store that was clearing out their rentals that wouldn't rent. And this wouldn't rent because it's stupid. So I probably paid like $3 for it. Great, it's in the collection. I think I watched it after I bought it, and then I hadn't watched it again until earlier this week. So I didn't remember it at all. It is quite forgettable. But still, I mean, fun good times to be had, right? The Experts. It's awful, but it's fun. This story is ridiculous. The characters are ridiculous. The outfits are ridiculous. I mean, there are some funny jokes. There's some fun dancing. It's still a good time, but it's terrible. So if you're feeling nostalgic for the 80s and you want like a buddy comedy that doesn't quite hit the mark, this is the choice for you. So good luck in finding it. I don't know where you can find it. I'm sure you can stream it somewhere. You can't just walk into your old video rental place and find it anymore. Because I have it now. I have the last copy. I don't know. Have we had enough? 1989. Good times.